Rick Beaver, of Anishinaabe descent, was born on the Alderville First Nation in central Ontario. Early traditional influences, combined with training as a wildlife biologist, are expressed in much of his work today. Painting primarily in gouache, his creations combine flowing line and a strong sense of drama, design, and color. Children of the sun, moon, and earth, wildlife, landscape, and people are his subjects. A career studying endangered bird species for the Canadian Wildlife Service was a childhood dream come true. This additional perspective helps him to envision both the enormity and fragility of life, one of his major themes. He has been painting full-time since 1981, yet he still calls himself a student of the environment. His studies have involved him in a number of issues, assisting diverse groups including Villagers for African Famine Relief, Earth Day committees, the Canadian Native Arts Foundation, and the Western Canada Wilderness Committee. In 1993, in recognition of his contributions to the community, Rick was awarded the Governor-General's Commemorative Medal for the 125th anniversary of Canada. Rick hopes that the response of his audience springs from a celebration of the exciting possibilities of land, life, and time.
Anine, hello. My name's Rick Beaver, and we're in my studio in Peterborough, Ontario, having a look at my avocation, I guess, as an artist. I do paint, I do a little writing, and some sculpture too as well. The work keeps me involved, and we seem to be preoccupied at this point in time with an investigation of the symbols of light and dark. My past experience as a wildlife biologist has, of course, given me considerable insight into the scientific machinery of the world. My background as a native person, a Mississauga Ojibwe, has given me further balance with respect to the introspective qualities of life itself. In this piece, The Rosy Side of Winter, I've chosen to accentuate the relationship between the dark and the light side of life, using the birds themselves to draw a line between the two. And the symbol of that bridging link is the circle, a very old, traditional, but not exclusively native symbol for showing the relatedness of all things. Thus you can see that just as the cardinal shape is mirrored in the other companions they fly with, the perfect form of the circle will echo that relationship. Those are old ideas, and yet they're new ideas too when one looks at the ways we use our knowledge in this place, on this earth. And it seems to me that the balance that's taught by old traditional beliefs and pursuits are still in vogue today. That's what I believe. Is you are allowed to express yourself through the knowledge you've gained and how it works, how it looks, how it behaves under different situations. And at that point, I think the medium doesn't begin to inhibit your form of expression. It enhances it. That's one more good reason for sticking at something, I think. I think all things are like that. They go through this process of evolution whereby, with experience and knowledge of how situations work, they can become something else, another form of expression. And I think in its purest form, that's what art and life have in common. So, for me, art is therapeutic, I guess you would say, in that sense. I need to do things this way. This is my personal form of expression. We all have them. Some of us, it's words. Others, it's acting. Some of us are very creative and inventive in many ways, but and we honor those things. But this is my way at times of investigating the world around me, and I enjoy it thoroughly. And for me, there are many ways of exemplifying similarities between the world outside of us and the world inside of us. This painting is called The Wind and the Evening Star. I was inspired to do it by a particular photograph which I saw in a book by Carl Sagan, the noted astrophysicist from Cornell University, whereby one gets to participate in the finiteness or the finite view of the world. And in trying to relate this, Earth and its layers of atmosphere affecting sunlight in a chromatic sort of way, I came to think of the native view of these things as spirits, the evening star and the Mother Earth and the four winds, symbolizing the directions, each direction having its own attribute. And the freedom, again, that they seem to inspire, wind and birds. I seem to be painting a lot of air symbols, I think, because they do have this context for me. But bringing the view down to that narrow, thin zone wherein we survive and where we deem all experience, I think tends to introduce a certain humbling aspect into our existence here on this planet. We should be looking more at those things. And in so doing, I think we're going to find that they give us a balance and perspective which we really need today. The evening star. First one out in the evening, in that boundary between the light and the dark, between the sky and the earth, between the air and the sun. And the winds essentially coming home to roost in the lap of the planet. To me, that's his family. Once again, everything is related to everything else. And it's a good way for me to portray these things, make them so in my mind, and reveal them to others, share it with them. Because I think dwelling on these concepts is a good way to balance in this modern world, where so many things seem unimportant. And that's all I have to say about that. I think artists, by and large, people making a living, a life out of their experience, are addicted to the energy that they create within themselves with nothing more than mere ideas. And all material things tend to get out of balance. So in my studio, this is my mess and my balance. It's a funny thing that way, but it keeps the flow going along where I don't have to pick up a broom all that often. We get around to it maybe once a month.